Guys, today we're going to do a program that was left in the comments on one of my other videos. This program is simply going to take a string from a user and also a letter, and we're going to look for the occurrences of that letter in that string. So as you can see, I have my shell of the program, so we'll go do the first thing and think of our variables. So for this, since we're doing occurrence, we're going to need some sort of counter. So that'll be an int value, and we'll call it occur. Since it is a counter, we're going to go ahead and initialize it to 0. Now what else will we need for this program? And let's think, since we're doing a letter, so we're going to need a char value. Go ahead and call it user char. We'll leave that one uninitialized right now, as we'll initialize it a little bit later. And the other thing is we're going to need a string, since we're inputting a string. So let's go ahead and start that, string. And we will call this one user string. And I'm also going to initialize one, or set up one more, and I will explain this in just a little bit, although the name kind of gives it away. There we go, and that should be that. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and set up our scanner. Call it inputs equals new scanner, and do system.in. That looks correct, and that should be good. Yep. Okay, so now that we got that, that should be everything we need for this. So we're going to go ahead and prompt the user to do what we want them to do. So first thing is, let's go ahead and do a println, or new line. So system.out println. And for this, we're just going to prompt them to enter a string. Okay, now that we're prompting them to do that, we need to actually read that in. So we'll go ahead and read that in as user string equals input, and we're just going to do input dot next line anyways. That way it'll go until they hit enter. There we go. So now we got that. However, when we're looking for occurrences of letters in a string, you got to realize when a program looks at it, a lowercase and an uppercase are completely different, whereas we're just wanting to know the occurrence. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and change this string to lowercase so it makes searching it a lot easier. So we're going to go ahead and do lowercase equals user string dot, let's see if it's in here, 2. I don't see it in there, but whatever. There we go, and it changed it for us. That works. Okay, so that's simply just a method, another method to the string command, or not command, but object. There are a lot of methods to it, as we'll go into it and show you another one in just a little bit. So now that we know that, we're going to go ahead, or now that we have that set up, we're going to go ahead and do another prompt to get them to prompt them what letter we're going to look for. So I'm going to cheat and actually copy this, copy that, and helps if I can spell today. There we go. Okay, so now we got that. Now we got to actually read that in, so we're saving that in char. So user char equals, so user char equals input dot. And this one we're just going to use next, actually, because we're going to grab whatever they put in, because the scanner doesn't necessarily look for just a char value, so we're going to read it in as a string. But to make some precautions to it, we're going to do a couple things. You don't have to do this. This is really all you need right there. But we're going to make a couple precautions in case they decide they are accidentally hit a space in front of it. So we're going to do just trim. And what that does is it trims all the white spaces out of it, just to make sure. And then the next one is we're actually going to use the char at command, and this is simply going to allow us, it looks at the string as an array, and it looks at each letter in that index according to what index we're telling it to look at. So we're going to do char at, and since we are wanting the first, we've already trimmed all the white space out, so now it's just the letters. So if they entered like 5 of them, we want the first letter of that array, so we're going to do 0. And that'll be it. That way it'll store only that first letter in that user char right there. So now that we got that, we have everything we need. Now we just need to actually search for it, and the best way to search for an occurrence of anything is loop. So we'll go ahead and set up a for loop, as I almost always use for loops just because they're handy, and you can do a lot. They have a lot of utilities. So for, let's go ahead and set int I equals 0 for our counter in there. Close it. We need our comparison in there, so we're going to go until we've gone all the way through. So we're going to start it at I is less than the length of that string. Since the index of any array starts at 0, we don't want it to be equal to the end of that string because that'll put us over. So let's do lowercase dot length. That'll give us that, and then we need to increment, obviously. So I plus plus, not equal, plus plus. There we go. Alright, as always, I like to put this at the end of them so I know what each bracket is. And 4. Okay, so while we're in here, the only thing we're looking for is we're doing a comparison. So the best thing for a comparison is obviously an if statement. So if, and here we're going to do char at, oh, not char at, sorry, we have to put the string first, so lowercase dot char at, and we're for in here for our index we're going to do I, as it already put in there for you, and we're going to compare is it the same as the user one, and so it's going to be user char right there. So it's simply going to compare it. If it is the same, then we're simply going to increase our increment counter. So occur plus plus. There we go. And that should be it for the program. So let's go ahead and run it and see how it goes. Let's go ahead and build it and clean, and then run. Alright, so it's asking us to enter a string. So we're going to do some capitals in there just to make sure. Hi there. Okay, so we're going to hit enter. So that's our string. Now it's going to ask us for the letter. Let's see. Didn't spell name right, but that's okay. Let's do E. Let's do space E to make sure that trim's working. That's working. But the one thing I did forget to do is we were going to print out the occurrence of that. So that's fine. So now that we see that, we're going to go ahead and do a printout of the occurrence. So another system, actually I have that copied, so another system out. So let's go ahead and put the message. Let's see, what was I going to put for message? Oh yeah, that's right. There were space plus occur, so we know what how many occurred, plus what we were looking for, which would be user char. Oh, and I need a space in here, otherwise it's going to clump that together. So okay, there we go. Plus user char, and and that string. I hate how it does that, so let's go ahead and break this down. There we go. Don't want to go in too far on the screen. So there we go, that should work. Correct? Let's go ahead and rebuild and let's run it. Okay, so there's our string. We're going to do a couple spaces. We're looking for E, but we're going to make sure all those other precautions are working. There are 4 E's in that string. Let's see, so we had 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it looks like it's working. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that video and I hope it wasn't too bad. Let me know in the comments if there's something else you want to see or if you need some more help with it.